Good afternoon, my friends. This is Paul, and today I'm going to be reviewing to you Pajama Sam 3, You Are What You Eat from Your Head to Your Feet for the Nintendo Switch. As I've mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of basically all of Humongous Entertainment's games. As far as how I would rank the various series that they have, I think I would go from worst to best Freddy Fish, Putt Putt, Pajama Sam, and Spy Fox. Even though I prefer Spy Fox more for being the highest tier of difficulty and the oldest demographic of kids, I think Pajama Sam is probably the most creative. So while I loved the first two entries, Pajama Sam 3 is my favorite because it sticks with the core theme of everything and everyone being made out of food or something related to food, and just coming up with the craziest puns that'll get health food experts laughing at how they manage to tie it all together. While it is a bit disappointing that the more adult-like jokes in Pajama Sam 2 were removed, not to be confused with adult content, adult-like, Pajama Sam 3 feels like it's more friendly to a general audience because I think most kids will still be able to appreciate the humor, whereas stuff about executives and board members would probably fly over the kids' heads and was probably just put there to appeal to the adults that had to help their kids play the game. Fundamentally, Pajama Sam 3 is more or less the same game as Pajama Sam's 1 and 2, just with a different setting. This was the first Pajama Sam game that required Pentium 2, so a lot of people were a bit jealous in the old days because they had to update their computers. So what does Pajama Sam 3 offer over the previous games? Well, it has slightly better animations, very slightly, mind you, and it also has a couple of lyrical music tracks in there. Generally speaking, the music seems to be a bit of a better quality as well. It seems like they might have performed it with real instruments, or at the very least very good samples, but due to the nature of compression that they had to do back then, it couldn't really live up to its full potential. However, where Pajama Sam 3 really shines is just in its world design, in its humor, how many jokes they managed to sneak in there, and also just the general balance of difficulty. It's not quite as hard as the Spy Fox games, but it's not stupid easy like the Freddy Fish and Putt Putt games. It's just right. Even a couple of times I had to actually think for a few of the puzzles, which was really great. Now this entry is a little bit bittersweet because it was the final game in which Pamela Adlon voiced Pajama Sam. And for her final performance, she absolutely nailed it. Most of the fan base doesn't want to talk about Pajama Sam 4, and I don't think the people who worked on the game want to either, as Alicia Ferguson is credited as the voice of Sam in that game, but you literally cannot find any information about her online besides that she voiced Sam, so she must have just disappeared because the game was received so poorly. One thing that I really like about the Pajama Sam games that somehow didn't make its way into the other Humongous releases is that you can choose which of the multiple paths you want at the start of a playthrough, or just make it random. So for example, if you want one of the delegates to be in one location and another in another, you can go ahead and change that. Each of the delegates that you have to rescue are in one of two possible locations on every playthrough. So technically you really only need 2 playthroughs to be able to see everything. And it is nice that the game gives you the option to not have to keep playing over and over again until you happen to get something new like you did in the other Humongous games. All of the Pajama Sam games to date have had something collectible to find to receive a super cool reward. In the first game it was socks. Now that I think about it, that actually wasn't that great of a reward after all, just the intrinsic pleasure of collecting them. The second game was puzzle pieces, and, well, the reward is the picture that you completed. And in the third game, you collect box tops to get a Pajama Man action figure, which is more satisfying than the other 2 rewards because you actually get a cutscene of it being delivered, and then you get a super cool model that you can look at. It's a nice reward for kids that test their observation skills because those box tops can blend in really nicely if you're not paying attention. As seems to be a pattern with the Humongous releases on the Switch, this is literally exactly the same game as it was when it first released in 2000. They have not done any quality of life improvements, no changes to any of the mechanics in the game. It's still not in widescreen. It's basically a carbon clone port. For those that grew up on Pajama Sam 3, that is absolutely no problem. But to those who might have wanted more quality of life improvements, I mean, you're getting the touchscreen support, but that's about it, then you might want to look elsewhere. However, if you're wondering if you should get it for yourself, adults might not like it too much unless they have children that are, again, trying to test their deductive reasoning and logical abilities. I think most adults probably wouldn't like Pajama Sam 3 unless they want to know about the various inside jokes and puns related to food. However, I think kids will absolutely love it. If they liked the first two Pajama Sam games, this one is by far the best, and we will pretend that Pajama Sam 4 never happened, and we'll just say this was a great way to end the classic trilogy. And thank you, Pamela Adlon, for sticking it all the way through until the end of the good Pajama Sam games. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or comments, what you thought of the video, start a conversation, any of that good stuff. Special thanks to my patrons Matthew Rakowski, Sploon Ghost, and Splatcat for their financial contributions. And until the next time, remember to keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye!
Well, this is fabulous. And now for my favorite part.
We get to eat some cheese?
No, we get to blow the horn of celebration.